Hi, welcome back to my journal journey. Today I'm setting up November in my everyday bullet journal. For this spread, I'm using symbols that I've printed on my foam memo sticker printer, and I'm using a whole collection of different colours from Tombow. I'm starting off with the title page, which I used an upsy-daisy to stencil to sketch out the title. Then I went around the letters with my red felt tip, rubbing out some of the clear pencil marks before I went in, and I then coloured the background. I had fun doing this because it's a lot different than what I've ever done. I've never quite attempted a title like this, so it was fun. It was a fun difference. I then added a few details around the edge, and on the left hand side of the page, after completing this setup, I found another stencil with some speech bubbles on, and I am trying a new way of reflection by writing kind of like a text chain. So at the start of the month, I'll write in some messages, and then at the end of the month, bit of a review, I can answer my messages, so how things have progressed and how I'm feeling at the start and at the end of the month. Adding in my first sticker, I had great fun with this, trying to get the backing off, but I got the hang of it after a while, kind of. I hope you've realised what the theme is. It's Monopoly, because in November, I think it's National Lottery or National Board Game Day, and it was something just completely different. Usually I go for a birthday theme, a cupcake theme, but I went for Monopoly this year. So it was really fun to have so many bright colours used throughout the whole setup, and I love how it came together. And I'm doing the voiceover partway through November because life got busy, and it's going really well at the moment. So, fingers crossed, I'll keep up with journaling. I've started to journal a little paragraph every day, which will hopefully help with my reflections so that I don't always think about just the negative parts, and I can think about what happened that was really good in the month. That's the idea anyway. Just adding little dots. I did pick out a dotting tool, but I thought I'm not going to test it with having two different types of light green. I'd picked the light green that I thought was closest to a Monopoly board. I might be completely wrong, but it looks good. Just because I'm at the edge of a page, I've put some spare cardstock that I have lying around my desk area underneath so that it doesn't go onto the pages before this page. And I was trying to emulate the tops of the board sections with the pink section and the brown section, with having the utility and whatever in between. I'm undecided about those two aspects of the page, but the rest of it I absolutely love. For some reason, I felt that it was really important to keep all the pens in a certain order. I believe it's the order that the colours appear on a Monopoly board. But I love how the top of this calendar turned out. It's not very often I put the initials of the days of the week because I've been using the same calendar layout for a very long time. I know it's Monday to Thursday on the left hand side and Friday and the weekend on the right hand side. So I don't tend to put them in, but I do quite like how they look. If I was going to do a Monopoly theme again, I would potentially do something like I did at the sides of the page and use it as a tabbed spread, potentially. But in this monthly setup, I'm not 100% sure what I'd tab. I was freehanding this arrow. Not the happiest with the back of the tail, but is what it is. I thought I'd try and outline it to make it better, but the tail still looks a bit wonky, bit off. It is what it is. And moving on to the next part, next spreads, I want to make some changes to how I journal, what I journal, where I'm doing different parts of my journaling. This is how I got around being able to take the backing paper off. And it worked for me. I cut around most of it, took the backing off, and then just did the last bit of cutting. So I wanted to make pages set up for that. I know it's only November, but new journal season is just around the corner. I know for definite that I do want to move into a slightly larger journal. So I managed to buy Archer and Olive B5 and Archer and Olive Square Notebook. They're from the last year's autumn collection. I was going to buy them from Archer and Olive. I found some gorgeous designs, but the price doubled at checkout with the shipping costs. And I thought, the books are alright, but they're not worth doubling the cost. So I decided not to get them from actual Archer and Olive, and I found a website that's UK based and resells collections. So that's what I decided to go for. I've tried to pick some that, although they're from the autumn design, you could use them at any point in the year. I'm quite excited. I just haven't decided which size I quite want to get into. Just trying to bring the added bit of the top of the squares onto another page so it didn't look so odd on my calendar page, but instead of going down the sides, I went top and bottom. And this page is for brain dumping, just getting everything out there. I was just checking colours of titles and stuff that I'd used. I called it Mischief Managed. I need to find a decent trigger list or thought provocation list to to help with brain dumping because I come to write stuff down and my mind just goes blank. So that is something that I do want to work on because I'm all stressed out and full of ideas and moans and everything else until I come to write it down and then there's just nothing. So if I've got one place to stick it all, it's going to be work in progress. And I also decided to add a few stickers dotted around because I seem to have printed loads out. And after setting everything up, yes, I've still got some left over. For these pictures, I just found something from a Google search and popped it on my phone memo app and printed it onto the sticker paper. I make it look so hard in the video. It was ingenious when I was doing it. For this page, I just have my handy dandy notes page, which is always a staple in my setup, and a review page. Again, I'm trying to look at how I review my month, and with writing down little reflections, I'm hoping it will make for a better review and make using the journal more meaningful, as opposed to just setting up pages that stay blank for all eternity, which was originally why I started journaling, for the creativeness and just having an outlet to do something. For most of my stencils, I seem to have packed them away because I'm packing up my office, and so I had to make do with what I could find to draw around because I just didn't want to draw with the ruler. And then just freehanding over. I'm not very happy with the title sections that I put on these cards because I just did a line in the green. If I was to do it again, I would make that page better. Because I knew that I wanted to write for this month and I still want to do the daily headline, I decided to go for an 8-box weekly on all of my spreads, and it required 0 measuring out because it was just one box in. And for each of the cards, each of the blocks, each of the bits, I have just done a coloured border, and I've set up every week of the month with the same basic start. I have kept the colours the same throughout all of the weeks, which is something that I don't normally do. But so far, it's going okay. Each of them have a different sticker on the notes box where I have been putting my weekend to-dos, because that tends to be when I use my journal the most. Just going over with a white border on November. It didn't really show up as much as I wanted to. I could have gone over it again, but I wasn't that bothered. But if you do notice it, it's just an added little bit. Overall, I'm really happy with this design, and it was a bit out of my comfort zone with all the different colours coming together, but I'm thoroughly enjoying using it. I turn my book contemplating what to put on that left hand side, but I'm glad that I left it empty. And for the final flip through of November 2025 in my everyday bullet journal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.